Wild weather on the New South Wales mid-north coast has forced hundreds of people to leave their homes. Kempsey is the worst affected, with predictions the Macleay River could top the town's levee when water levels peak about now. And there's also major flooding in the Manning catchment west of Taree, and further north, people in the Bellinger and Nambucca River catchments are still isolated by floodwaters. Reporter Ben Worsley is on a blocked Pacific Highway at Nambucca Head. So Ben, what's the situation there?
Hi Ros, I'm on the Pacific Highway at Nambucca. That's one of 3 points where the highway is cut in this region. Although some traffic is just being let through where we are, it's also cut at Corindi to the north and Kempsey to the south. To give you a snapshot of what's going on in this region, every major river between Grafton north of here and Taree south of here is to some extent in flood. That's the Clarence, the Bellinger, the Nambucca, the Macleay, the Hastings and the Manning River, and other smaller rivers in that area are all to some extent in flood. Now that's the first time they've all flooded simultaneously since the major floods in this region in 2009. The residents in this area, they are accustomed to this sort of weather events. There's a caravan park just to my right, and we talked to a few of the folks who live there. They were evacuated last night. One of them, Bob, he at least seems to be taking things in his stride.
Well, I just had a weekender down here about 14 or 15 years ago, and that one went right under. So I knew when we built this place how high to build it,
I suppose if you want water views, you get water views.
Well, my daughter rang me last night, and I laughed at her. I said, I finally got what I always wanted. And she said, what's that? I said, a houseboat.
So, Ben, there are big worries, as we said, about the town of Kempsey, with a river there due to peak at any time, threatening the town's levee. What have you heard?
Yeah, the Macleay River, that's the real focal point of concern right now. In fact, midday was the time that the Weather Bureau and the SES gave for the expected peak for that river. The concern is, as you mentioned, it will rise above the levee. As that's a riverfront town, the CBD, if that occurred, would go under. For what it's worth, the Mayor just spoke to the ABC and he seems confident that that won't happen, but for safety's sake, the SES had ordered 400 residents in that central area to evacuate, and in the region more broadly 1,300 evacuation orders have been issued. But downstream from Kempsey there's also concerns. Smithtown is now completely surrounded by water, and the canal settlements along the Hastings River around Port Macquarie, many of them are isolated, and just in here the Bellinger and the Nambucca River, towns like Bellinger and Thora are partly cut off. As far as the weather's concerned, well, you can see it's clear here now. There is some more rain expected around here in the next 24 hours, but if you look at the weather radar, that big massive rain that was moving from the north coast down south is now right over Port Stephens and Lake Macquarie as it heads to the central coast and then towards Sydney.
Ben, thank you.